Hi everyone, Gina Buckney here. I hope you're good and well today. For those of you that aren't feeling great though, and I wasn't myself this morning, but I had to tell myself I'm going to turn this day around. So I thought I would share with you my 5 top tips for turning your day around and managing daily stress. Tip 1, tune out the stress. Easier said than done, right? Because stress can be all consuming. And believe me, I've had enough of it in my life. But I've learned some practical skills to be able to deal with it. And tuning out the stress is a very important one. So I call this compartmentalization. So the stress is still there, whatever's causing you that stress. More often than not, it's not even caused by us, it's caused by someone else around us that we're maybe worrying about, stressing about, thinking, are things going to work out? So that can be all consuming and can take over your day and stop you from doing what you need to do and what you need to achieve. So the art of compartmentalization is basically recognizing that actually that's still going to be there, but I don't need to think about that all day, every day. And I don't need to think about that right now when I need to focus on the task at hand. So I'm going to compartmentalize it. I'm going to put it in a little box, and you can visualize this if this helps. File it away and go, okay, I've not forgotten about it, but it's not the time. And mentally, if it helps you, do that. Imagine yourself putting it file in a box and saying, I'll come back to that later. There's nothing I can do about it now, and I have other things that are priority. Because also worrying about something won't change the outcome. So just leave it where it is for now. So that's tip 1. Okay, so tip 2 is, sounds simple, but create a list. Because if you're, again, worried about stress and you can't focus on what you need to do, just simply write down what your priorities are today, what you need to achieve. And it can be a small thing as well. It might be that you don't have anything big on at the moment, but you know you need to be productive because it makes us feel good, right? So it might even be like, oh, I don't know, wash the car, put the washing on, little things just to make sure that you've got your house in order, and that will make you feel good as well. Do the garden, whatever it is. Maybe not in the rain today, but do a list of things that you need to do. And if you're at work, yeah, make sure your priorities are at the top. And then as you work through that list, you've already compartmentalized the stress. You said, right, I'm not going to focus on that. And now I've done my list. You start to focus on the list. And as you focus on the first task at hand, and you may even want to pick a quick win, something that's easy to deliver fast. Because when you do that quick win and you tick it off your list, mentally what happens is like, oh, okay, I've just achieved something there. It's like a release of dopamine that is a good chemical for us to have to go, okay, it's motivating me now to get through the rest of my list. And as you get into a flow, I call this flow state, suddenly nothing else even matters because you're just in the zone with the tasks that you need to do. Tip number 3, self-compassion. Now, we can be very hard on ourselves as human beings, and we can think, oh, we can cope with everything that life throws at us. And that's simply not the case sometimes. And if you don't feel okay, it's okay not to feel okay every minute of the day. Even the most positive people don't feel okay. But it's about, how do you pick yourself up on those days where you're feeling a little bit down and you say, right, okay, I'm going to sit with it for a little bit. I'm going to feel the feelings because that's okay, but I can't sit in it forever and I can't let it consume all of my day. So maybe have an hour, hopefully less than that, but a little bit of time in those feelings, and then go, right, okay, let's get to it. And if you need to mentally or even verbally tell yourself, right, I'm going to turn this day around, I'm going to be productive now, and I'm going to get on with things. I sometimes say to myself, suck it up, buttercup. But it works. And it's like, come on, just start, just make a start, get moving, start doing things. But know that it's okay not to feel okay every minute of the day. Okay, tip number 4, breathe. Like, breathe. Just take a breath. Take a breath. If you've got lots of things going on in your life, which many of us have, and we're all going through something, then it's like, okay, just stop and pause. Chances are you're breathing really shallow as well. If you're stressed, one good test for seeing if you're stressed is just to check your breath, check your breathing. Is it short, shallow breaths? If you get anxiety, you might have this a lot, short, shallow breaths. But you want to take a deep breath, but really in, like, let it expand your stomach. Like, the breath has to go into the stomach. And this is a good calming exercise. And I do sometimes 3 deep breaths when I'm feeling stressed, or I've got something where I'm like, I need to just calm a minute. So breathe it in and hold it for a minute. Just recognize that you've got that breath there, and then release. And the release feels so good as well. And do that 3 times, and just, it helps you self-regulate. So yeah, don't forget to breathe, and get outside if you need to. Go for a walk, get around nature. That always helps me as well. Okay, number 5. Find something that makes you happy and go and do it for 10-15 minutes a day. Just even if it's a short, sharp boost of happiness, serotonin will be released, the happy hormones, happy chemicals in our body, and it will help lift your spirits. And then you feel more elated, more able to combat any challenges that come your way that day. So yeah, do focus on something that makes you happy and do it. If you can't, say you're in work and you're stuck in the office and you're in the office and you're like, oh my God, what is life? So even thinking about it, here's the trick of the mind, right? So if you focus on the thing that makes you happy and just go and take 10 minutes somewhere private on your own, sit down in the cafeteria or whatever, just make sure, put your headphones on, have a do not disturb sign on your desk, whatever you need to do so people don't interrupt you. But use the power of thought and the power of imagination and go to that happy place, or think about that person that makes you happy, that animal, your dog, maybe your cat, and just sit with those thoughts for a minute, or think of a happy memory. And what happens in the body is, basically, it's that the happy hormones are released, because the brain can't distinguish between thought and reality. So if you're imagining it, those chemicals will release anyway. And this is true from one of my mentors from the past, Frank Dick, OBE. He basically, well, he used to teach Olympic athletes, and he taught me the power of visualization. And I remember all these years ago, when I first watched him speak, he was saying, with the athletes, when they are training for a race, they'll hook them up to these machines and they'll visualize the race or the match, whatever it is, and they'll visualize winning. But as they visualize, like, coming out of the starting blocks, the muscles flare up as if it was reality. So when you imagine something in your mind, then the chemicals are released into your body. So stop thinking negative thoughts, because those negative chemicals, stress, the nasty amygdala in your head, your fear center, is in fight or flight, stopping you in your tracks. Start thinking good thoughts. And I know that sounds so basic, but it's true. So just spend 10-15 minutes of your day either doing an activity or being with someone that you love, makes you happy, or at least thinking about it and focusing on it. That's tip number 5. I hope that helps. And for anyone that is struggling today, and I was this morning, and I had to use some of these tips myself, it's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's about how you pick yourself up and how you carry on and you motor forward through those challenges and go, do you know what? I'm not going to let those challenges stop me. I'm going to carry on and I'm going to power through, because that's what I do. Tell yourself that every day. I hope that helped. Take care for now.